steadily it rises. Public preference for Lincoln Continental as the symbol for today's luxury motoring.
Hey, it's Jason ODB, the Lincoln Addict, and I want to take a look at Bring a Trailer. If you've been following the channel, you know that I do listing reviews to kind of hone in on what's good about a car, maybe what isn't so good. I want to take a moment here. This is a little bit different video. I just want to talk about how Bring a Trailer works, and then we will look at a few of the Lincolns that have posted and sold since I kind of took a little bit of a break. I know some of you have supported the channel and you appreciate the listing reviews. I'll try to get back into doing those, but really since the beginning of November, there's only been a few of the 60s Lincolns, which I primarily cover here. So let's jump in here, how Bring a Trailer works. When you go to the website, if you go to About Bring a Trailer, there's some information here, but most importantly, you want to go to how BaT works, and you can click here. So there's a lot of info. I only want to really scroll down to the bottom and just get to the nitty gritty. Is the post-auction process is if the auction reserve is met when the listing ends or the auction is no reserve, Bring a Trailer provides the seller and winning bidder with each other's contact info. The buyer and seller then work together to complete the transaction and arrange for shipping if necessary. You can see here in general, buyers are, of course, responsible for shipping, taxes, registration, etc. If the auction reserve is not met when the listing ends, BaT will provide the high bidder's contact info to the seller in hopes that they can work out a deal. This is really the key that I want to mention. This is what I appreciate about this website. The seller pays a $99 listing fee with the option to add the photo plus service for an additional $250. I recently recommended a guy that has a real nice 66, 67 sedan, low mile car, looking to sell it. I said, look, Buck, go ahead and utilize your Bring a Trailer. I kind of walked him through this. Really, I could post it on social media and try to do something and make a little fee doing it, but you're going to have more of a worldwide audience going this route. So I do like still posting some cars. You know, I follow all of this stuff daily, weekly, monthly. So I don't mind here and there posting some things. Or if you got a car that you want to sell for a small fee, I could post it across my platforms, but Bring a Trailer really is the go-to place. Here's the key thing. There are no other seller fees on Bring a Trailer. So from a seller perspective, you're going to be in at $99 or potentially about $350 if you add in the photo plus service. They come to you and they take the photos. Now, here's the key. Many of you may not know this. Maybe you haven't utilized the site or you haven't went to this section to kind of break it down. But buyers pay a 5% fee on top of the final price, a minimum of $250, but it's capped at $5,000. So, of course, they're geared towards, making it easy for the seller. The buyer has to pay a fee, of course, on top of what they purchased the car for. You can contact them for the white glove service. But when you look up here, they'll kind of go through a little bit more detail. My understanding from reading through this site a couple of times is that anyone can set a reserve. I don't know if it's always been that way, or if they've ever changed, but that's the key that's a question I get asked a lot. Hey, well, I'll sell my car there or try to. Is there, can I set a reserve? I don't want to be hoping for X amount for my car and then not get that. So I totally understand that. So what I'm going to do, which I always do, is I'm going to type in Lincoln. And when we click on enter, it's going to show you any of the live auctions. Now, I'm not going to go in depth, as I mentioned earlier, on any specific listing, but I am going to scroll down here. And if you look, I probably ended out about here on 1025. I remember doing a review of this. So basically on 1026, they had a 62 sell for $51,500. I don't believe I did a review on this one. I did record a couple and I didn't have time to edit them. And by the time I was ready to do that, it was a little bit too, it was a week later, so I didn't want to go back through that. So basically, again, a convertible. Many of you are looking for convertibles. This was a 62 that sold for just over $50K. And of course, this one was acquired by the seller on Bring a Trailer in 2021, and we can click that, and we can jump over here and see basically a year and a half later, it goes from 40 grand up to just north of 50. So that was one that sold there. Now, fast forward to 11/2, which was really like a week away, and you have the Green Machine here. So this was a 62 convertible, and you can see a little bit different color. Looks like real nice interior, clean engine bay. We can see it doesn't have the AC compressor, nor does it have the clutch fan, so we know it's a non-AC car. But this one sold for 45, right? So just kind of giving a synopsis of some of these cars and the prices that I did not cover. Now, I did get a couple of requests to cover this car, and I wish that I had taken a moment to do so. This was an ex-Steve McQueen car, according to what I've been told. I haven't really went through this listing in great detail, but what you can see is this is what I would call like a patina Lincoln. So it has that patina look and feel that some people may appreciate, but when you look at the dash and you look at the seats, there's one word that comes to mind with this one. Okay, and it's thrashed. Okay, this is a pretty thrashed car, or you might say ratty, which shout out to our friends, the Ratties. This might be a car that would intrigue you because of the name associated with it, or maybe one you just want to get and work on. But bottom line, this sedan, I would think that it sold for as much as it did, simply because of the namesake, $29,000 for a sedan. Again, I think the Steve McQueen name drove that one up. Now, I wish I had taken time. I know I had went over the Lyndon Johnson car, which sold for $172K, but this 64 convertible in a very desirable color, this one you can see sold for $47,000. So typically on these reviews, you guys know I go through kind of pretty solid detail. Sometimes I feel like too much detail, but you can look at this car and I think most people that would look at it would say, man, this is what I want. I want a cruiser. I want to be able to jump in this car. They've got good photos underneath the doors that kind of show minimal or no rust, and with the floor pans and stuff. So the reason why I'm kind of going over these high level is because oftentimes people are saying, well, I want to get a car. I want to get a convertible. I want to get a sedan. Well, there's plenty of them out there, and I would say going into 2023, you just have to be ready, right? You either have to have the money available that you can quickly get to it to make the payment, or you have to kind of know a range that your budget's going to allow. And the convertible prices still continue to bring, as you can see, some pretty solid prices. Now, speaking of that, there's a 66 convertible. Again, they do a good job on BaT's site with scheduling these a week or two apart. So they don't want to have competing convertibles at the same time. But this one on 11/17, so before Thanksgiving, sold for $54K. And again, a later model, so 66, 67, a little bit different body style. I think continuing to become a little bit more sought after. I know some people, aren't as fans of these as maybe the earlier years, but you could look at this, and again, a car that's not perfect, but potentially is a nice driver. And this one came in at $54K, so a solid price there. We jump up here to, again, a week later, 61 convertible in the, I want to say Arctic white, but I forget the specific color. Very similar color to the review that I did on Chris Dunn's car recently. But this one is a 61 convertible. This was the Continental's now offered in Canada, so it was up in Canada, and you can kind of look through it and kind of see. Looks like a true car for the most part. Again, not doing a huge in-depth review, but you could see the trend here. These convertibles, high 40s, mid 50s, that's kind of where they're at right now. You can certainly get one of these cars. You just have to be, as I said a few minutes ago, ready to rock and roll. So you fast forward up to now, almost right before Christmas, 11/19. No reserve, a 66. So again, a later model, right? 66, 67, a little bit different body style. And wow, we see $81,900. So a pretty strong price for a 66, 67, which is fantastic. This one has a clean California title. So, typically a California car is going to sell for more. You start to look at this and go, wow, pretty nice interior. If that's your color, upgraded air condition. You can see here, very clean underneath. It looks like they did respray a lot of stuff. so on and so forth. So again, not an in-depth review, but certainly kind of going back to where we left off around the Lyndon Johnson reviews and just kind of taking a peek at where the prices are at. Now, again, you can also go on Haggerty's website. I personally have their insurance, so I love using their website. It gives a little bit of insight to some of the recent sale prices. But if you're looking for a convertible, if you're looking for a sedan, I really think you need to check out this website. Not a paid sponsor, just kind of a fan of the site. I think it's easy to use. And yeah, I think that's that. Now, I do have a friend that's going to be selling a 65 white sedan. A very nice car, a true untouched car for the most part. It did have a new timing set put in it. I will be posting that to try to drum up some excitement for it. I'll, of course, post his information on social media, so you'd have to contact Charles directly. He actually is a guy that lives out in the Arizona area, I think, and he's going to be moving soon. But a real nice 65 that he bought. And he's going to be selling that. So if you're interested, be on the lookout for it. You could email me, lincolnaddictpodcast@gmail.com, but I would just say that I'm going to post it and just try to stay out of the middle of it. And then you could contact Charles for more photos and things like that. So appreciate all the support. If you see this before Christmas, Merry Christmas, and thank you. I can't wait to get into 2023. Got a lot more in store here. Take care.
The Lincoln Continental is the big, roomy luxury car. Will be motordom's symbol of quality, an automobile and a tradition.